Hi everyone, I'm Glenn Fleury. This is Board Games and Bourbon. Right now, I want to tell you about a game I bought for solo called 30 Seconds to Live. Now, this game can be played with two players, and there's a timer. You die if you don't do it within 30 seconds, but I bought it for solo. And what you're doing in the game is there's a street of cards you're trying to get through. You have a standee. The standee has its own stats, like its own health and its own weapons and things it can do. You're spending action points to move, to attack, to pick up stuff, all that, things like that. Zombies are coming to get you, like this one here. This one can move to spaces for an energy. It can attack if it's in the same space as you. There's a bunch of other stuff that you need to read on the top. There's a lot of details. There's a lot of minutia you have to manage in this game. In that way, it's a lot like certain war games, okay? Now, as a solo experience, what I found this to be was very frustrating. I found it frustrating because I didn't think the information on how to run the game was clear. For example, the game is designed for two people, so you have some rules in this zombie book and some of the setup here. You have a survivor book, which is you, the person trying to get through. Some of the rules and some of the setup are here. However, the solo setup is here, and there's certain things that aren't explained. And in fact, sometimes when you play this game, you will not know what to do unless you already know what to do. And what could that possibly mean? Well, here's a card that has an exclamation point on it. And something is supposed to happen when you get there. Now, you think that would be very obvious, but it's not. That triggers something called the warehouse zombies. And you will not know that unless you already know to look for warehouse zombies. You put them at the beginning of the game. It is part of the setup, but they don't tell you that they're called warehouse zombies or how they come out. They're just there, and then you discover it. Later in the game, here's another card with a symbol on it. Still don't know how that activates or what it does. It's an ability token that some of the characters have, but they come with it at the beginning of the game. This is just free floating in the street. Does that mean I gain one? I will assume, but I don't like assuming. Now, as far as the gameplay itself, your experience is totally up to the whim of the cards. Um, there are, and that's okay. Some games are like that. Some war games are like that, but you have to know that going in here. Like you might have a weapon and it costs you energy to use your weapon, but that doesn't mean it actually struck or did damage. You have to draw another card and you have to see if it works when the enemy is standing or sitting or whatever not. So you might have used a weapon and it didn't work. I suppose that's very dramatic and very theatrical of the game, but it's not very strategic. You're just at the whim of what's going on. And so, combined with the fact that I found it hard to read the rules, also with the fact that there's a lot of details in here that you have to keep track of, 30 seconds is a little bit misleading. I probably should have read about the game first. It's not a quick game. You are just not really dictating your fate as much as witnessing your fate unfold, unless you're playing it often. And look, I haven't played this too often, but I played many games to take this will get, take away from it. Unless you play it often, you're going to forget the minutia, and then you're going to have to dive back into these over and over. That really slows down the vibe of the game. So for me, the artwork is great. The gameplay's okay. The rulebook ain't that great. Give it a 5 out of 10. So that is 30 Seconds to Live. If you're looking for a solo game and you see it on discount, I say give it a try. Okay, but that is as far as that would go with me. Have any more questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.